Hey guys, today we are on day 5 for math. So make sure you guys are on math, class pages, week 3, day 5. We're going to click on day 5. And here we have a couple of tips. So the first one here is telling us that we have to do a project. So you guys have two options. You guys will obviously have to use Google to help you research the project. You have option 1 to either design a horse racetrack, or option 2, create a picture of a well. They forgot to put A right there. So here are the steps. I'll put it in a separate document and Mrs. Alameda will send it to you guys. We will also send you the PDF as well, so you guys have it with you. I definitely recommend you guys paying attention really closely to this because it can get a little confusing. It took me a while to figure out how to figure this out as well, because there's a lot of information. So just have your eyes and ears on this video. And if you need to take notes, if you need to pause along the way, definitely do that. I recommend. So here it says I need to pick a project. Then we're going to read the description, which you guys will see. I'll show you guys. You're going to have to use Google to do your research. Again, you can use the Word document, or you can use PowerPoint to present your project. Or you can draw it in your notebook, in your math notebook, which I recommend doing. If I were you, I would prefer that. Taking a picture of it and then attaching it to the email and onto Powerschool. Be creative. Add a whole bunch of drawings to it. Save your document on the computer, and then of course don't forget to click submit. So here is project 1 and project 2. We're going to do project 1, which is the racetrack. So here it goes. It gives you a little background history on a horse racetrack. And it's so it says there are many famous racetracks for horses in our country. Churchill Downs in Kentucky holds the Kentucky Derby every year and even has a Kentucky Derby museum. Santa Anita Park in California is located in mountains and has had races with many famous horses. Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico was started in 1930 in cornfields. Horse races were measured in furlongs. So furlongs, guys, we're going to see what they mean. Most horse races are from 5 to 12 furlongs in length. If a half-mile race were measured in furlongs, it would be 4 furlongs. This is because 1 furlong is equal to 1/8 of a mile. So 4/8 of a mile is 4 furlongs. So boys and girls, remember you can use your digital tools if you need help to as a visual. So remember, we click on this and we go on equivalent shapes. And you guys can let's do 4/8. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. Let's go back. Reset. We'll do 4/8. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we want to do a half. So 4/8 and 1/2 are equal. They're the same thing. Okay? So if we were to go here, they're telling us that half a mile is 4 furlongs. So 4/8 is 4 furlongs. Okay? This is equal to this. And it's telling us that 1/8 is 1 furlong. So think of it as like this. If we want to go and reset this again, if you want to do it like this, 1/8, one of this equals 1 section of the track, which I can show you guys on here if you want to do that. I even have like a picture of a track. So let's say this is broken up into 8 pieces. 1/8 of it is 1 furlong. 2/8 is another furlong. 3/8 is another furlong. 4/8 is another furlong. 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and then back to the beginning, 8/8, which is a whole. So there's a lot to take in with this. So it's just remember this part. This part's important. So our project, the project that you guys have to do is, the first step is to draw a picture of a racetrack. So what I did, guys, is I'm going to provide this picture for you, and you guys can get a regular piece of paper, like a white piece of paper, and just put it on top of your computer and then just trace it. And then you can break it up into, you have the option to break it up into 4 or 8 furlongs. So you have to decide whether you want it to be 4 furlongs or 8 furlongs. So you have to tell me how your racetrack is in miles using eighths, fourths, and halves. So remember that 1 furlong is equal to 1/8 of a mile. So you can break up your track into 4 or eighths if you want to. And then you can use the measurements halves, fourths, or eighths. So what I did was I drew this. I drew this track. So I named it Miss C's Racetrack for horses. So I put down here to remind myself 4 furlongs equals 4/8 or half a mile. So I split up my track into 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see. So I did 1 furlong equals 1/8 of a mile. 2 furlongs, this is 2, equals 2/8 of a mile. These 3 equals 3/8 of a mile. And then this whole thing is 4/8 of a mile. So this track alone is only half a mile. So it's a very small track, okay? Because a regular track, when you go around the whole track once, that's only 1/4 of your mile. Because 4 laps around a track is a mile. So this is not a track that you would run on, because this is something very small. So this is what mine looks like. But I chose 4 furlongs. If you want to break this up into 8, you can absolutely do that. You have that option. And then you just have to label it, either using eighths, fourths, or halves. You have to show me. So it also tells you, compare the length of your racetrack in miles with the length of the racetrack of a classmate. So choose a classmate whose racetrack is a different length. So let's say that I picked my one fraction with 1/8, and then somebody else they did it in fourths, so they did 1/4. So first, we have to compare the lengths using 2 fractions that have the same numerator but different denominators. So here is the same numerator, 1/8 and 1/4. They have the same numerators, 1 and 1, right? So we have to compare these two. If I were to compare this, I'm going to say 1/4 is bigger than 1/8. Why? You can draw a picture, or you can explain using sentences. Then you have to compare the lengths using 2 fractions that have different numerators but the same denominator. So here you can pick any random fraction you want. So I picked, let me not show the sign. I picked 1, so with 1/8 I put, with 1/8 I picked 1/12, right? And then with 1/4 I picked 2/12. My denominator is the same. So which one here does the alligator want to eat? 1/8 or 1/12? Which one is greater? And then for my second one, which one does the alligator want to eat? Which one is less? 1/4 or 2/12? So if I were to pick that, I'd pick 1/8, because 1/8 is greater than 1/12. And then my second one is 1/4 and 2/12. Which one is, I just gave it away. 2/12. 6/12 is less than 1/4. So that was mine. So you guys can pick any random fraction you want to do for this part. When it's asking for this part, then compare the lengths using the two fractions that have different numerators, but the same denominator. You have to pick two random fractions. They don't have to be from the measurements that you use. And then you have to use, again, the symbols, this symbol and this symbol. So remember, just show me which one is greater and then which one is less. I want to see which way the alligator is eating, the bigger one and the smaller one. And that's pretty much it for that one. Then if we were to go on to the second project, which is this one, it's all is well that ends well. So this one is talking about wells. So it's saying here more than 7/10 of Earth is covered with water. That's a lot. That's 70%. So 30% is land, and that's very little. In the United States, there is also a vast amount of water underground. Some people try to access this water by digging a well. They dig into underground rock called an aquifer. Aquifer? If you guys know how to pronounce that word, please help me. An aquifer is a body of rock that can contain or transmit groundwater. So that's a new vocab word of the day. So our project today is to create a picture of a well. So step 1 is to research how deep one has to dig a well. So you guys have to go on Google and just search up how deep does a well have to be. Once you get that number, that's your whole number. I'll explain. So then you have to draw a picture showing how deep you would dig your well. Then the distance will be one hole. Include what is underground, such as the rock in which you are digging and the water, of course. So add some rocks. You can, add the water. Next, think of two fractions that have the same denominator. Each will be a fraction of the whole distance you have to dig your well from the top of the ground to the place you can reach water. Mark each fraction along that whole distance of the well you have drawn in the picture. Compare the two fractions with the whole distance that was dug for the well. What do you notice about the two fractions compared with the whole? How would two other fractions each with the same denominator compare? So that's a mouthful. Don't worry, I will help. So the first part says research, right? So let's say I researched a well. So my well is, let's say, 500 meters deep. That is my hole, okay? So I decided to part my well into 4s. So 4/4 is the bottom of my well, which is 500 meters deep, which is equal to a hole, okay? This is my well. It's obviously not as pretty as the one that you guys are going to draw, but then it's asking, next, think of two fractions that have the same denominator. So I chose 1/4 and 2/4. So I put it here and here, right? Because we already know that 4/4 is the one here. Each will be a fraction of the whole distance you have to dig your well from the top. So this is a fraction that we have to dig to get to the hole. This is another fraction that we have to dig to get to the hole. So that's what they're saying. So we have to mark it, which I did. And now we have to compare the two fractions. So I picked 1/4 and 2/4. This is what I picked, 1/4 and 2/4. And I have to compare it with the whole, 4/4. So just show me a comparison with it. You can show me whatever you want. You can explain it to me. You can draw it, whatever you want to do. Then it's asking for you to pick two other random fractions. How would two other fractions, each with the same denominator, compare? So it's asking you to pick two different fractions. So I picked 2/8 and 4/8, and I'm comparing it with the whole 8/8. So that's all you have to do. That's pretty much it. So you can either do how to create a well, or you can do the racetrack for horses. If you guys have any questions, please ask, because I know this is kind of a difficult project it does take a lot of research and it does take a lot of time for you guys to, you know, actually put some thought into it. Again, I suggest you guys doing this last because this is a very long project and you're going to have to do research for it. So all the rules are on here. Again, we will attach this to the email. And again, if you guys have any questions, please comment below or send an email. I will be online, so I will help tomorrow because I know, again, this is a very difficult project. And I will also provide the picture of the track as well so you guys can trace it if you guys choose to do the racetrack. Okay. Have a great day, you guys. It's Friday. We're here. The weekend is here. Get your work done. If you haven't done LAL, finish your LAL. It was only 3 assignments. I know you got this. Have a great weekend.